This is another live pitch deck review where we go through an investor pitch deck for a startup enterprise and identify what belongs and what doesn't belong, and how to tighten the story, get your point across quick, because the best product and the best founder is at the mercy of the story. And you want to make sure that the story is sharp to communicate with impact and get the investment that you're looking for. Speaking of stories, the big story this week is World Cup semifinals tonight and tomorrow. And this final is on Sunday in New Jersey. And New Jersey is where this week's client pitch deck comes from. It's a company called BeeCure, and I'll share the screen. This is a 23-page deck for natural skincare products that work. Let's unpack it. So, firstly, 23 pages is a lot of pages. And, unless it's an homage to Michael Jordan, like 23 pages is too long. And even if it was an homage to Michael Jordan, why is there an homage to Michael Jordan when we're talking about bees? Doesn't make any sense unless there's some kind of clever way to relate it to the Charlotte Hornets, which is an NBA team owned by Michael Jordan and has a honeycomb pattern on their floor, as this deck does on the first slide. But off the bat, I love the bee theme and the honeycomb pattern. The colors are really great. But if you look at and you got BeeCure with the registered trademark, okay, nothing wrong with that. There's an indentation here, which doesn't seem to make sense if you can see my cursor. Natural is not aligned with the word products. Natural skincare products that work is okay, not bad, doesn't really do that much, but relatively inoffensive. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, key investment highlights. And the R logo in a circle for registered is still there. So the way I think investor deck should be structured is that every pixel needs to earn its place on the page. Otherwise, it's just taking up space. And by that logic, I'd cut anything like that. Like we made the point on this slide. Okay, you've registered the trademark, which is really proactive if you're early stage. But I don't know if you need that here. Maybe that's nitpicking, but it's like, this is a lot. This is a wall of text. And I think that there's not enough effort to clearly communicate what this is. And therefore, that's why you're seeing these 5 things. So the cool thing is you've got that kind of honeycomb hexagonal pattern repeated, which I like. It reinforces the theme of this being something to do with honey, something to do with bees. Having said that, like, where do you begin? Okay, so like this is a lot of words. Transformative natural skincare solutions. We offer a portfolio of innovative, clinically proven nutraceutical skincare products powered by nature and guided by science. That was a lot. What does that mean? This seems like a classic case of the curse of knowledge where the founder knows a lot, but this is a lot of long, jargony words crammed in that, like, what are you trying to tell me? And the issue is if you can't communicate the essence of what you're trying to do in a clear sentence that is repeatable, like, you might not get the follow-up questions. And so that first bullet, it must be true, but like, who's going to remember that and repeat that? Who's going to go home and say, oh, what do you see today? Oh, I saw a portfolio of innovative, clinically proven nutraceutical skincare products powered by nature and guided by science. Nobody. No one's going to say that. Not even Mike Ross from Suits, who's got a photographic memory, is going to say that. Not even Xi Jinping, who claims to have a photographic memory. Does he? Does he not? Who knows? It could be a cult of personality they're trying to cultivate in China. Anyhow, back to New Jersey and back to BeeCure. Addressing a $53 billion compromised skin market. Okay, that is something I can wrap my arms around. But even then, like, it's 53, it sounds big, but it's all relative, right? So is it growing? Difficult to say. Partly because the growth figure is obscured between this like yellow text with a shadow beneath it. It's trying to attract more information, attract attention by creating some kind of formatting that gets you like, wow. But they're trying to do too much. So it's italicized and it's yellow and it's got a shadow. Like, that is a lot. If you're trying to draw attention and make something stand out, 1 to 2 of variations from classic black text is fine. So either italicized and yellow, yellow and a shadow. I mean, a shadow is a bit much, right? It's like, it's not art school, guys. With a focus of compromised skin relief, BeeCure is poised to capture a significant share of this large market, growing 8% a year. Uh, okay. It's poised to capture, is it though? That sounds like a cool claim, but you can't back it up that easily, at least not on this page. Proprietary formulations, what the third point. Our raw medical grade buckwheat honey and other natural inflammatory ingredients provide unique and superior outcome and aesthetics. Okay, that one's a bit easier to understand, but still a long sentence, a lot of like technical words. Like anything proprietary, I think is really cool and defensible. I think investors will view that as something that creates something of a moat. So that's really positive. Having said that, raw medical grade buckwheat honey, like what's buckwheat honey? Maybe you can unpack that later. Um, this is doing a lot of promising superior outcomes and aesthetics, but I don't hate it. But it's really long and wordy. So everything on here, like I think the central challenge of this slide is trying to do too much. It's trying to do 5 things. You want a clear this is someone's come into your presentation cold. They don't know you. They don't know BeeCure. They don't know what market you're serving. They don't know what the problem is, and we just hit them with 5 things. It's a bit much. It's like when you meet someone at a party and they're like, "Oh yeah, well I just bought a house for $1 million and then I bought a yacht for 2 million." It's like, buddy, we just met. I don't know your name yet. This is like crawl, walk, run, one thing at a time. Strong financial projections. Our 5-year financials project 20x ROI driven by significant revenue growth and profitability with a break-even expected in year 3. So like the reality is investors see a lot of bold claims and they see a lot early stage, we don't know what this is yet. And it might have a pathway to 20x ROI, but it probably doesn't because these takes time to gain traction. And everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, which is something that Mike Tyson said. So there's a model out there with assumptions baked in that get you over 5 years, 20x ROI. But immediately an investor is going to be skeptical of that kind of claim. That's a really bold claim. Like, I'm not sure NVIDIA makes those claims. And so I don't know if that belongs on this page. I think you can demonstrate you put a lot of thought into the financials. You've got a 5-year forecast. This is good stuff, right? But 20x ROI, and I can't read it properly because the shadow. I'm not sure about that. Experienced leadership and partnerships. We are led by a team with over 200 years of collective medical, skincare, and CPG experience and established partnerships with nationally recognized healthcare organizations. Who's repeating that? Nobody. The person who wrote that's not going to remember it. So I'm sure it's all true and it sounds compelling. But again, it gets into this issue of there's just too much on the page. And I don't know what to do with it. It sounds like, oh, look, credential. We're awesome. Ooh, invest in us. But the thing is, it's entirely solutions led. But we haven't established what the problem is, because the solution is going to fit the problem, right? That's where the value comes. When solution meets problem, there's a dollar value attached to that. And I think this is trying to do a little bit of that by saying we're addressing the $53 billion skincare market, compromised skin market. But it's like that is relatively hard to pick up in this page, which is just doing a lot. Okay, let's keep going. Our journey began 8 years ago. Feet first. Yay. What does that even mean? Feet first is how you get out of bed. Okay. Feet first is not what the OBGYN wants to see when he's delivering a baby. Like outside of that, I don't know why we're talking feet first. This is an investor presentation. What? And then this is like, okay, so I think the purpose of this is to say, hey, look, we're really credible founders. Here's our bio. But it ends up being a lot of words, right? Like, hey, who's got the time to read this? Dr. Ken, a Harvard-trained podiatrist, was frustrated with limited treatment options of infected diabetic foot ulcers that led to amputation, even death. Okay, like, it's a good effort, but so it does something well. We've got a very clear person. It's Dr. Ken. That's really good. It's really, really positive. A Harvard-trained podiatrist. Also good. Very specific. Was frustrated with limited treatment options of infected diabetic foot ulcer. Why is he frustrated? He doesn't just wake up, get out of bed, feet first, and say, I'm frustrated. Like something's happened in his practice of podiatry. Maybe when he was at Harvard, maybe when he's been practicing professionally, maybe he got a license in Massachusetts and moved to California where podiatry is practiced differently and he's seen something that's led to that frustration. Or maybe he's had to operate on somebody, or he's not being able to serve a patient the way that patient needs to be served, and it's led to death. And that's entirely missing. But the other issue here is emphatic diabetic foot ulcers. So that narrows the use case, which in a way is positive, right? Because a narrow focus is a really, really good thing. Having said that, it's like, unless your investor audience are doctors, how do you know that? How will they know the risk of infected foot ulcer for diabetics, and what the progression curve looks like between uh, having no skin issues to a foot ulcer to amputation? What's that progression like? Why does it progress? Why is this an issue? It's completely missing. And that tension is what you need to establish, like, this is a big problem that human beings face. And what this does is it starts off really well by saying it's Dr. Ken, it's a specific person, but there's no patient experience in here. I think that's what's missing. It should be Dr. Ken came across this patient who was underserved and lost a limb or lost his life or her life. Existing treatments created ingredients that were synthetic, frequently toxic, or worse, expensive, and didn't work. Okay. Why though? Like, what makes them toxic? There is extensive research. Dr. Ken discovered the power of buckwheat honey, offering healing without the side effects of synthetic drugs and or toxic materials. Okay, I like it, but there's something that's missing, right? So he's done extensive research and he's frustrated, but there needs to be something that connects those dots a bit clearer. And mind you, like, this is just evaluating the story, not the product. Because it sounds like, I don't know about too good to be, it sounds really promising, right? Like, it's got all the benefits of healing without any of the side effects. So it sounds very compelling. And then we've got his 100% success rate in the torture test of amputation prevention is the foundation of San Melix and BeeCure that he and his wife Diana founded in 2017. I mean, look, I'm just going to skate over the fact that the formatting's off. It could be just like the issue when you go from PowerPoint to PDF. The version you're looking at on the screen is a PDF. And so that's why you see on the left, this hexagon should be maybe around the picture of Dr. Ken. And then this box over here is laid on top of the word the text of 2017. So that creates confusion. Let's overlook that. But okay, you've got 100% success rate in the torture. What is a torture test? I don't know what that is. It's amputation prevention. This sounds amazing. What is San Melix? Why are we talking about San Melix? I don't know what that is. I thought we were talking about BeeCure. What's the relationship? Is it a sister company? Is it a complementary product? Is it a skin cream? Is it for diabetics? I have no idea. And we're introducing Diana. Okay, he's married. That's cool. What does it have to do with anything? Does she have a role in this? Is she a scientist? Is she a Harvard-educated podiatrist? Unless she's adding to the story, why is she here? This story is missing a patient anecdote. But instead we get his wife, and it's a grainy picture of her. And we get a picture of people dipping their feet in some kind of pond. Those look like healthy feet. Like, this isn't adding up. And then we got the logo for SML, I think. I'm guessing that's San Melix. I just don't know what this has to do with anything. This feels like a bit of a word salad. Let's just throw a bunch of ideas on the page, and they're kind of loosely related, and this can maybe tell us story, but it doesn't. So, and that's not to say that this presentation can't get funding. I'm not saying that at all. What it is saying is that it will take longer for it to get funding because the story is not being told in a very coherent, clear, and concise way. And the more clearly you tell your story, the more you retain attention, I should say, and therefore you're more likely to have your audience understand what it is you're up against and up to, and get the funding you're looking for. So I think the ingredients of a really great story are in Dr. Ken's head, but the way it's come out, I'm a bit confused. Like, I still don't know what Diana's got to do with it, and I'm sure there's a clearer image of her out there somewhere. All right. The problem: many current compromised skin products come with negatives to your skin and your what? It's hidden. And then you've got, like, again, I don't want to anchor on formatting issues because in some ways this imagery here is really good. But you got side in bold text and white, and then you got effects challenges completely obscured by the black text on the dark blue background. It's just not working. And again, wall of text. Like, the walls we like are in China. Outside of that, there shouldn't be a wall. in a deck. Walls create barriers. There should be barriers between you and your message and the investor. Product, primary ingredient study, master. Okay, so I think this is trying to say existing solutions don't work. And it lists the primary ingredients that make them not work, and then outlines the challenges. Okay. Reality is, okay, so if you're going for a very healthcare oriented investor, I could see maybe or scientific investor, primary ingredients may have some value. But other than that, like if you have a non-scientific audience, what is neomycin, polymyxin? These are just words that have no meaning to a lot of people in your audience. I don't know why they're there. Um, yeah, loads of words, poorly formatted. Let's see. Can clog pores and trap pathogens. Prolonged use may cause respiratory issue. Heavy, greasy feel. Heavy, greasy feel, like, isn't that subjective? Like, that isn't in and of itself a bad thing. And none of this is really telling me, like, why existing solutions are underperforming, right? So, like, can cause clogged pores. Okay, I guess why I get that being an issue, but why is it an issue? What's prolonged use may cause respiratory issues. Okay, that's a bit better, but why? Next row, mainly focus on hydration, soothing, not calming, or skin strengthening. Why, if we're solving diabetic foot ulcers, what does that have to do with skin strengthening? And I get the sense there's a relationship, but unless your audience is diabetic or a doctor, they probably don't know what that relationship is. And I'm like, what? Brands can sell for $100 for 1 month's supply. Okay. It's not an EpiPen they're going for $3,000 in America when it goes for $9 in Denmark. So, like, you want medicine to be accessible to all, and your ability to get medicine not to be a function of your ability to pay for it. I get that. Having said that, $100 doesn't feel like it's out of reach for most people. Ingredients do not repair or strengthen the skin barrier. Okay, that's repetitive. And again, it's out of, like, I don't know what the context is. Next row, can cause itching, swelling, can cause allergic reactions. Okay, so that's an issue, causing allergic reactions. Like, I totally get that. Cause itching, swelling. Yeah, I get that. But again, like, this is all very abstract. Over-the-counter antibiotic creams and ointments. Well, firstly, I don't think you can get antibiotics over the counter. I think, don't they have to be prescribed? So there feels like there's a contradiction there. And then secondly, which antibiotic creams and ointments? Because this is all very loosey-goosey and vague. And then finally, topical steroids are potentially carcinogenic. Okay, that's really easy to understand. Can cause skin thinning, redness, discoloration, withdrawal symptoms after prolonged use, usually only for 5 days. Okay, that's a bit better. But again, like, the issue that this slide is trying to do, it's trying to say existing solutions don't work. And you have to work really hard and read every word on the page to understand that's the message. And even then, it's not that clear. So again, the message is completely obscured by text, being vague, being repetitive, and not tying it to, like, a real human outcome. Because I want to know what's the issue with something not being skin strengthening? Is it because skin naturally degrades over time? Is it because skin degrades more when exposed to sun, and so therefore you need this kind of top? Like, I had no idea. But what? And again, like, the last slide is like, diabetic foot ulcers could lead to amputation. Oh no, or death. And that's just lost here. So, is it a thing? Is it not a thing? Maybe it's not a thing. Buckwheat honey is a super solution. Okay. Buckwheat is a superfood that is actually a gluten-free seed that has been known for centuries around the world as a food source rich with nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. A lot of things have nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Soil has nutrients and minerals. What, like, you got to be specific. And, like, the picture sucks. It's like, Google better. Gluten-free seed. It's from this highly nutritious plant that our bees make their powerful buckwheat honey, what we call superfood for the skin, as it has more polyphenols that help nourish the skin and strengthen the skin barrier. Okay, so now we're kind of cooking, but a plant that are bees. Are bees. Okay, so you have your own bee farm. You have exclusive access to a bee farm. You're cultivating bees. You're a beekeeper. Like, what's the relationship here? Because if you have your own bee farm, that implies kind of vertical integration. So maybe that's part of the moat. Now maybe we're onto something, but it's really unclear. The nutrients, vitamin, and minerals. It sounds cool, but it needs to be more specific to demonstrate that mineral A has a quality X that leads to outcome Y. And you could argue that's maybe a bit too much when we're just introducing this buckwheat honey thing for the first time, and that would be fair. But this is just like a lot of words to introduce something that it's not clear enough what this is doing for the skin and strengthen the skin barrier. And it's like really disjointed because we talk about, I thought we saw, buckwheat honey is up here and then it disappears and then it reappears, right? So that it feels really disjointed. It's like Trump's plans for infrastructure week. They appear, then they go away, and then they come back again. It's not adding up. Okay. When it comes to skincare, buckwheat honey is superior to Manuka hands down. Ounce for ounce, buckwheat honey contains more of the good stuff. What is the good stuff? Like, you tell your kids, like, chicken's got good stuff, so they eat chicken and not chips. But investors aren't 5 years old. Unless they are, maybe it's young Sheldon, but he's kind of fictional. With superior clinical outcomes versus Manuka due to its skin regeneration, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antioxidant properties. Yeah, like we're all going to be repeating that tonight. Buckwheat, again, like it's a really great image, skin benefit superiority. Buckwheat honey gets all the check marks, antioxidant content, wound healing, anti-inflammatory. This is just getting repetitive. We say it's anti-inflammatory here, then we say it here. We say it's antioxidant here, then we say it here. Moisturizing, antibacterial. Like, what is the point of the table if you got one sentence that's doing all the work? Skin brightening, gentleness for sensitive skin, richness in nutrients, cost less. Okay, so this is positioned as like the ultimate solution. Cost less is cool, but here we're talking about the properties of buckwheat honey. I don't know if cost less belongs on this page. I get the sense it's better than Manuka. That's clear. But again, the way it's teed up, like I think last week we talked about the rule of three. So the rule of three is the human brain processes things in threes better than other numbers. So if you've gone four, it's just too long, too many things to remember. Two is not enough to form a pattern. So to make this a lot punchier, you'd say, so you'd anchor on anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antioxidant. That's three. Okay, and they all have the anti prefix. It makes it easier to remember. Ounce for ounce, like that's just redundant. Why are we saying that? Hands down, like we're speaking in platitudes. Look, I'm not expecting the deck to read like a novel, but again, this goes back to to use an analogy, like take a machete and every pixel has to earn its place. Hands down is not doing anything. Ounce for ounce is not doing anything. And you end up with just, again, a wall of text that says it's better than Manuka honey. Okay. Our first solution, BeeCure Radiation and Laser Therapy Pilot, launched digitally with limited marketing funds in December 2023 to targeted audience in smallest compromised skin segment to gain learnings for brand messaging and usage portfolio. You could just say pilot. Everybody knows what a pilot is. It's one word, and that does all the things that long sentence just did. Like limited marketing funds. Well, duh. Yeah, it's going to have limited marketing funds, right? It's not Coca-Cola. Launched digitally, pilot launched digitally in December 2023. Boom, done. Same thing. And then again, like the headline's really passive. Our first solution, beat radiation and laser therapy pilot. That could easily change to what the pilot achieved. So not like you don't even get into like pilot around December, ran for 6 weeks. We tried it on people above 45, whatever that is, in Atlanta. What did the pilot achieve? And that is not clear at all. So we've said we've done a pilot. We've got some more pixelated images on the left. We've got the product, and that's like a cool image because that helps you say, oh, no, this is a real thing. It's got good branding, got good colors, like The graphic design on the product, the box and the bottle, really, really strong. But then on the right, we say natural and it's proven, and proven is highly desired and commands a premium price. Okay. Why does it command a premium price? And proven is highly desired. Okay. This is just like, come on. Bart Simpson's got better English than this. Or you're just not checking. Either one. It's not good. Over the counter opens opportunities in FSA, HA, VA, and medical. Okay, that's so vague because if you're a startup, like yes, you want to demonstrate you've got traction to different channels for distribution. That's a really positive thing. But again, it's a sequencing thing, right? So you want to start with you don't want the investors to think you're going to try to boil the ocean and go down the FSA channel, the VA channel, and the medical channel all at the same time. You want to have that sequence. Top 10 placement on Amazon, or you miss thousands of eyeballs on you. Duh, that's very obvious. It's like telling somebody, if you're not on the first Google results page, you're not on Google. Everybody knows that. So there's nothing that if you want to say that we've got the budget and we have the sophistication and know-how to go to the top of the Amazon results page, cool. But this is just telling me, stating the obvious, and it's not tied to the pilot at all, right? I don't know why. Top issues. Focus on burn, itch, calming, acne, and sensitive skin. Okay. I'm confused because when we open this deck, it said we're focused on diabetic foot ulcers because there's a risk of amputation, even death. That's high stakes stuff. Now we said we did a pilot and we're focusing on burn, itch, calming, acne, and sensitive. Is that a prelude to foot ulcer? Is it in parallel? Is this a different product? No idea. What this does well, I think, is saying we tee up buckwheat honey here, and then we expand on its properties here, and then we say we're mixing it with, it's medical grade, we're mixing it with calendula and bisabolol. And so that says we're not just taking honey from a farm, we're doing something to it to get these, these healing properties. So that's positive. But all four of these do not earn their place. I have no idea why they're there. And it's grammatically someone's not checking. I mean, maybe it's Trump's copy editor that checks his tweets before they go out. Everything customers want and nothing they don't. Okay, now this is feeling like you're selling magic dust. Again, let's just assume the formatting's off because of the compression of PDF. But BeeCure formulations have been rigorously tested and are proven to be free of allergen, and then a long list. Ain't no one remembering a long list. Free of added fragrance. That's not, free of nuts. Yeah. Okay, great. You didn't put almonds in there. Cool. This could be categorized. Again, rule of 3. So this could be free of additives, preservatives, whatever that thing is. And if you really want to expand on what those things are, you can add an asterisk or a footnote and expand on those at the bottom. If somebody's so inclined, they can read that. But this is a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good luck remembering that, even if you're a doctor. This and conversely, this is a tale of two stories, if you like, because on the right side, this is really compelling. Dermatologist tested in a cool little teardrop with a check mark, clinically proven with a check mark, sensitive skin. That's really compelling. So it seems like the person who designed the right side of the slide and the left side, they've never met. 0 respondents showed any negative reaction to BeeCure. Okay, that's cool. What's your sample size? 0 out of 1 or 0 out of 10,000 are two very different things. 97% experienced relief from radiation, redness, inflammation, and pain. That's amazing. What does that have to do with diabetics being at risk of having their limbs amputated or dying? What is this product? Is it just cool skincare, skin strengthening, reducing the risk of allergic reactions, redness, inflammation, and pain? Or is it to do with diabetes and foot ulcers? I'm sensing there's a relationship between the two, but that is just not coming across. I'm having to do a lot of work to even put these pieces together. A hive, buzzing. Let me introduce you to the word is. It belongs after the second word. This stuff is amazing. We ordered this because of the buckwheat honey. The science behind buckwheat honey is great, but it's very hard to find companies offering a formulation that feels good on the skin. Okay. So you're telling me that there's a patient out there who knows about buckwheat honey, knows about the medicinal properties of buckwheat honey, and is specifically looking for a buckwheat honey solution for their skincare issues. Plausible, not probable. My patient had total relief of irritation and redness from acute radiation damage. Love this. I bought this after a laser treatment. I'll probably use it all the time now. So something like in a great moisturizer. Okay, so it's a moisturizer now? Like, what is happening? None of these products are attributed. They could have been made up. They could have been plucked from Gemini. Who knows? And then on the right, you've got BeeCure on Instagram, but it's an AI generated image with grainy text in some, is it Dutch? Is it like, what is that? I don't know if you can see this clearly on the live stream, but let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, I can't zoom in. Okay. But it's got one hyphen, sorry, not hyphen, 1:99, all tidbits. Like, is that Dutch for likes? I don't know. And a picture of it. Like, but what does Instagram have to do with these patient testimonials that seem made up? It's so confusing. And the professional world, treatment world, is noticing BeeCure has been used and supported by nationally recognized healthcare organizations. Okay, this is cool. It's easy to understand. There's some really easy to recognizable logos. You don't have to be medicine to understand a logo like Brigham and Women's Hospital, Penn Medicine, MD Anderson Cancer Center. These, I mean, especially MD Anderson. If you spend any time in Houston, you'll see their, they advertise really broadly alongside the likes of Memorial Hermann. And so I think even if you're not medically inclined, you will have seen some of these names. Even you don't have to go to the University of Pennsylvania to be familiar with Penn Medicine. So this is doing something well, but and the professional treatment in world is noticing a little bit passive. BeeCure has been used and supported by nationally recognized healthcare organizations. Yeah, that's a bit better. But the subheading should be the heading, really. But beyond that, I want to dig deeper. It's been used. Okay, that's cool. Has it been endorsed? Do they prioritize it? Is it revolution? Like, if I go to Penn Medicine and meet a doctor, what would he tell me about this product? That's the headline. Like, BeeCure has transformed outcomes at Penn Medicine, or BeeCure has reduced the risk of carcinogenic products triggering cancer at MD Anderson. Like, it's very loosey-goosey vague. But an even greater opportunity exists to better address sensitive skin and its symptoms. Okay, so let's just back up here for a second. If you lose all the information on the deck, on every slide, but you only retain the headlines alone should tell you a story. And let's see what this is telling us, because I don't think it is. Let's see. Investment highlights. Like, we should lose this page entirely. Our journey began 8 years ago, feet first. Tells me absolutely nothing. It's supposed to be an inputting hook. No, I don't know what that means. Okay, let's go back. Our journey began 8 years ago, feet first. The problem, many current compromised skin products come with negatives to your skin and your... There's no headline here, but that's not... Buckwheat is a super solution. It's superior to Manuka. Solution, BeeCure radiation laser therapy pilot. Everything customers want, nothing they don't. Our hive buzzing. Professional treatment is noticing. Great opportunity exists. That is not a story. That's a bunch of clauses forced to live together like they're in a Hong Kong cage home. It's just not working. And if you're not sure what Hong Kong cage homes are, go to YouTube. Vox, a brilliant journalist called Johnny Harris, he was at Vox a few years ago. He's done a series on Hong Kong, and they talk about Hong Kong cage homes. But the point is, we're just jamming words together. They don't really belong. Like, this is like these words want to call a Miami divorce lawyer. They don't belong together. 50% of skincare consumers in the US actively seek for sensitive skin products. Okay. Fragrance-free, hypoallergenic, and dermatologist tested are the most commonly searched labels. Okay. Here's the thing. At no point is it clear that your solution is fragrance-free or dermatologist tested. I think it's implicit because you got these credentials of, okay, so I take that back. We do say that. Okay, so that's my bad. But I don't believe we say it's fragrance-free. Incidence of sensitive skin is increasing over time, with 70% of adults identifying having sensitive or very sensitive skin. Okay, I'll buy that. But why? Like, could you say warming climate or migration from New York to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, down to the Sun Belt, Arizona, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina? Is that what's driving it? Sensitive skin is often linked to a weakened skin barrier. Okay, that's an insight. I didn't know that. With the incidence of eczema, psoriasis, and other dermatitis conditions more prevalent in people with sensitive skin. Okay, this is an issue. Doesn't really punch me in the face of how the quantum of the issue, which is really what you want this deck to do. Lifestyle and environmental factors contribute to this increase and show no sign of easing. Okay, like a pandemic can come and change lifestyle things very quickly. So this feels like a bit of a bold claim. What lifestyle and environmental factors? The fact that Americans are in the cars driving everywhere and they don't have public transport. The fact that everyone is kind of online all the time. The fact that it's remote work much more prevalent now than 10 years ago. Like what lifestyle and environmental factors? It seems really vague. This is just saying like this is a product for everybody. And that's okay. It can be. But to really gain traction, you got to own a niche. And we started off with the niche in diabetics. And then we just said this is for everybody. And it may be, but crawl, walk, run. Like, I'm just not getting it. Skin barrier. I mean, the other issue with this is you need your audience to kind of be familiar with eczema, psoriasis, other dermatitis conditions, which there may be. But again, I feel like you maybe pictures. I mean, maybe you don't want pictures of people with eczema, but you want to show the human side and explain the stakes. And the best way to do that is pick one person, one use case, and say, Johnny had this issue with his skin. And because of this issue, he couldn't drive until he was 26. And you know what? There are thousands of people like Johnny across America, something like that, because people will react and be able to relate to a specific use case, even if they're not Johnny, even if they've never been to North Carolina where Johnny lives, even if Johnny plays for UNC and they hate UNC, whatever that thing is, they can relate to those specifics. I mean, like King Charles, the most privileged person on earth, is relatable. Not because of his privilege, but if you frame his journey as one of struggle, because he had to deal with a messy divorce with Diana, then he's got Harry acting out, then he's got his brother misbehaving. So then, through that lens, he's relatable because it's about interpersonal conflict and difficult relationships. At some point, everyone's experienced that at the work, at home, somewhere along the line. And so, I'm not saying anchor your relatability on the King of England, but I am saying that those specifics create that relatability that allows the audience to understand what you're saying, relate to what you're saying, wrap their arms around what you're saying, and then lean in. Because you have to establish a relatability to then, like, there's nothing wrong with sharing facts, sharing traction, sharing proof of concept, all those things. These are really positive. But you want to layer them on in the right sequence at the right time. And wall of text ain't the right time. In the pilot. Okay, we're back to the pilot. Okay. Like, we talked about the pilot. Where is it? Have I gone past it? Yeah. Okay. We put about the pilot on page 7. Page 7. And it goes away until, what's this? Hold on. So this is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5 slides later, the pilot's back. This is like the pilot in Catch Me If You Can. Like Leonardo DiCaprio goes away and does like some worry stuff and comes back to be a pilot for Pan Am. Except this isn't a movie about a con artist named Frank Abagnale Jr. In a movie starring Tom Hanks. This is BeeCure. So this is super disjointed. Played only in the pilot, BeeCure played only in only 1% of the large and growing compromised skin market. Okay. What does that mean? Is that like you're saying the skin market's huge? Okay, 53 billion. And BeeCure, okay, so what I think this is saying is BeeCure owns this niche of radiation recovery. That's amazing. Great to own a niche. Really good point to make. But we're suddenly introducing that on slide 12. Where has that been all this time? Future projected 10-year growth, to 100. So it's going to double over 10 years. Okay, that's cool. You're showing a growing market. You're showing some issues with burning, itchiness, dryness, redness. Okay, nothing. Yeah, I mean, that makes it. I think you'd be better off not using stock photos. I think you'd be better off using a real use case from a patient. If this guy, Dr. Ken, is a podiatrist, I'm sure he would have patient stories he could use, with their permission, of course. Our products relieve the key compromised skin symptoms across each segment included. Okay. So, I mean, look, I don't want to go into the formatting too much, but green, where did green come from? It seems like a ad comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it just doesn't belong. Let's see. I think this is saying we own this niche in a really growing market, which is cool. I'm more interested in how much is that 1% growing? Is that 1% going to become 5% over time? Because the way I'm reading this is that the whole pie pertains to the 53, which is doubling. So it's not really clear to me what the addressable market is and the obtainable market is for BeeCure. Soothing Relief Lotion launching 2026. So just to be clear, this deck is from September 2025, which is why they're saying launching 2026. Over-the-counter monograph classification with colloidal oatmeal. First to market with 50% more than the leading oatmeal brand. Why are you talking about breakfast? What does oatmeal have to do with anything? At the risk of being medically ignorant, and maybe the investor audience doesn't know the connection between oatmeal and buckwheat honey and skincare, but when I hear oatmeal, I'm thinking breakfast, I'm thinking hot, and I'm thinking now I've got to have my oatmeal and go to work or school, depending how old you are. What? Addresses 77% of the 50 plus billion compromised skin market. Everyday consumer use and claims for temporary relief of, and a long list of things, which could be VA and US military FSS program approval and funding. That's just a lot. Where do we begin? You got pixelated image of the product. I don't know what FPO is. I can't read any of these qualities because it's so pixelated. And we've got somebody applying it to themselves. That I get it. People apply skin to themselves. It's not a bad thing, but I don't know if it needs to occupy 2/3 of the page. And I just don't know what this is trying to tell me. You've got a product launching. So, I mean, we're talking about you're in a growing market, you got a product launching. And I think what you're trying to say is we're going to capture share of this growing market with this product. But that's just not clear, especially when you start with oatmeal. Why not just put Frosties in there? Why not have Tony the Tiger apply the skin cream to himself? What? BeeCure portfolio will expand to all major needs states of compromised skin in the next 3 years. I mean, year 2 should be here, but putting this format and the icons being really pixelated, putting that aside. Okay, got it. You're trying to show that you can apply the technology with buckwheat honey broadly to lots of different use cases. That's cool. That makes sense. But I still don't know. You're talking about serving diabetics with foot ulcers, and the qualities that allow you to do that, the product qualities that allow you to do that, it's very easy for me to wrap my arms around the fact that that can allow you to then expand what you apply BeeCure to and take care of all these use cases. That makes sense. But I haven't seen anything that tells me why your solution is so suitable for diabetics with foot ulcers and what you're doing to own that niche. You're talking about where you're talking about a cancer center, you're talking about Penn Medicine, but where's the American Diabetic Association on here? Or the Australian Diabetics Association, or a diabetes focused hospital at the Texas Medical Center of Houston. Where is that? It's just completely lost. And then now we're talking about we're going to go really broad, but we haven't established it just feels everything feels like really Disneyland. Everything's really magical, where everything customers want and nothing they don't. Our pilot did so good, but this page doesn't tell us any results about the pilot. This 0 respondents showed negative reaction to BeeCure. Could have just been his mom. I don't find this credible at all. And I'm not putting my money at stake here. Like somebody is, they're going to dig way deeper. Marketing slash go to market strategy. I mean, look, off the bat, very inactive headline. Well, you can synthesize your marketing approach or philosophy into a single sentence. That's the headline. And remember, it's supposed to tell a story because BeeCure portfolio will expand to all major need states or compromised skin in the next 3 years. Marketing TTM strategy. That is not a story. Those are words who are forced to occupy the same petri dish of terror. They don't want to be with each other. It's like Alan from Two and a Half Men. Like he doesn't want to see Judith anymore. BeeCure wants to be accessible to everyone, and that's great. Over time, you got to own your niche first. We want to invest in a focused digital-first marketing plan that highlights positive differentiation. I mean, duh. Help expand distribution, awareness, and trial, and drive repeat purchase through loyalty. I mean, is that even a marketing plan? Build credibility and differentiation. Highlight BeeCure benefits and distinctive reason to. I mean, the words. Where did the green come from? Everything is blue, yellow, white, which is very complementary colors, and then suddenly green, like the Pakistani cricket team just crashed the party. And then also like in the English language, which runs left to right, you want to organize your information in a Z shape or Z shape where you start here because people read left to right and then top to bottom. So 1, cool. 2 belongs here, 3 here, 4 here. So 2 and 3 should be switched. Drive loyalty among frequent users, run data-driven marketing analytics and tactics, drive targeted communication. I mean, this is just like really uninspiring. Might as well just say we will do marketing because there's nothing proprietary, insightful about saying drive targeted communications with email. Invest in loyalty programs. Yes. Because everyone knows the most successful loyalty programs are not Delta Sky Club and they're not American Advantage or United Mileage Plus. They're skincare products. Invest in driving awareness and trial. Strong PR for editorial coverage. I mean, that sounds cool, but like, do you have relationships with journalists? If so, where do they work? Do they work at the Journal? Do they work in the trade press? Like, do you have your own Substack? Strong PR. Like, is Tom Lamas at NBC Nightly News going to read from your script? Are you going to like what's your in? Otherwise, like these are just words. Conquesting strategies to drive brand switching. That just feels like somebody wanted really hard to use the word conquesting in an investor deck. They just came across it the other day because they're watching A Knight's Tale, the 2001 movie with Heath Ledger. And they're like, let's stick that in there. It doesn't even belong. Gain broader distribution. Radiation centers and derms, FSA, HSA distributors, VA hospitals, partner with sports leagues. And like, what's your in with the MLB or the NBA or the NFL? Like, if you don't have them, like, do we partnering with sports leagues? Is there, if you're playing most tackle in the NFL, are you more concerned with CTE or compromised skin? And if you're concerned with compromised skin, I can accept that. But where's the use case? Where's the story of Billy Franklin, who plays offensive tackle for the New England Patriots, having an issue with this? Because if that is a thing, we need to say that this is a thing, and that's who we're going after. Projected 5-year financials. Total revenue, net revenue keeps growing, net income, loss. I mean, sounds cool, but it's only as good as the assumptions behind it. Years 1 to 2 post funding, focus on skincare sales, investing for growing the portfolio, operating SG&A. I mean, look, if you're asking somebody to part with their money and you're talking about focus on growing the portfolio is fine. It's pretty vague. Like, how are you going to grow the portfolio? What other niches are you going to conquest? SG&A, how do we know that it's not just going to go to your salary? Like, you got to be more specific. Average gross margin of 61%, break even in year 3, 15% average EBIT. Is that good in this industry? I have no idea. Is it terrible? Who knows? Like, what's the benchmark here? They asked $3 million use of funds in the thousands for the first 2 years. Research and development, marketing, sales, and admin. Okay, so 50% is going to marketing. Got it. Working capital. Okay. I mean, so that's really interesting, right? So you're saying that most of it's developed and you just need to get the word out there. That makes sense. Okay, I can get behind that. But you're talking about marketing here and using really vague terms here. Like, it's just so unconvincing. Funds will be split between expanding, testing and claims, partnerships and distribution, building a portfolio, and financing growth of infrastructure, inventory, and staff. Forgettable. BeeCure, the offering. I mean, let's just get past the formatting being off. Voting common shares priced at, okay, 74% a share. How many shares are you offering? Price at price valuation based on Stanton Park independent value. So, okay, so you're offering them at a discount. Okay, so now you get to the share thing, no maximum. Strong financial projections. What on this page tells you 20x? I just don't see it. It's just like a really bold claim written by somebody who's just like, I don't know, so Back to the Future, and he goes 20x the speed of light to get back to the future or something. I don't know. What is this? Potential exits for investors. Merger with LifeCuff. Do you have a relationship with LifeCuff? Strategic partner. Yeah. IPO. Okay. IPO. I mean, look, it's like 10, 15 years to IPO. Recent skin therapy. Okay. The reality is investors want to exit after a few years and they know the exit paths, right? And any investors coming in at this stage, they're probably going to want to cash out before they get to IPO. So like, what is that even doing on this page? SEC annual report filing through 2024 and yeah, so what? So what? You file a report with the SEC? Like, we're nowhere near an IPO. And like realistically, you the much more realistic outcome is being acquired by Unilever or P&G. So, like, I like that that's on there. You don't need to belabor the point by having 8 logos. 3 is enough. Rule of 3. But like, the IPO is a very unlikely outcome for this enterprise. I don't know what that's doing there. Here, now we get to the 20x ROI. Okay, so we talked about it here. We talked about it right at the top of the deck, and now we get to it. Unique focused approach to winning. Leverage scientifically proven blah, 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 blah. Who's going to read this? Like, your mom's not going to read this. The guy who wrote this, mom's not going to read it, and she wants him to succeed. Focus on issues with leading solutions called build a hive community by partnering with national organ. Just words. Like, I think maybe it's just me, but at this point, I'm just so lost. I'm so overwhelmed by the words that I can't make sense of that I'm like, and the amount of formatting issues. I'm like, you haven't even tried. We are we are swimming in big pools. This is just repetitive. Growing licensing partnerships with complementary brand to further monetize on proprietary technology. You've got a proprietary technology, but there's not enough emphasis on like what gives you that moat, right? So what's to stop the investor calling his brother-in-law and saying, "Hey, we're going to get our own buckwheat honey farm, and we're going to compete with BeeCure because we found a magic source." Like, yes, you've made this discovery, but what makes it yours and what gives you that moat? It's completely missing. We're talking about DTC, VA, and military again, and sports and fitness again and again and again without any concrete detail. A diverse and experienced leadership team and award-winning products. What some of the world's most iconic brands? Okay, so you built Coca-Cola, did you? Like, what brands did you build? National products have already won Amazon Choice, Mom's Choice, and Steve. That's amazing. Why isn't that higher up? I don't know what a Stevie Award is, but it sounds cool. Oh, but then we say it's for San Melix. What's San Melix? What's the relationship between San Melix and BeeCure? I have no idea, because that could be an award for BeeCure or could not be. I just don't know. Leverage scientific studies to create compelling claims to consumer. Again, just words. Vision and mission. Transform and empower to live their best lives naturally. Help people. This is repeatable. Help people feel better, look better, heal better by creating innovative, clinically proven nutraceutical skincare products that are guided by science and powered by nature for uncompromised results. Amazing. Can't wait for the sequel. I'm just bored at this point. I'm kind of proud of myself for lasting 54 minutes on this. Meet the BeeCure team, uniquely qualified in consumer skincare. Okay, that's not bad, right? So meet the team, just get to the point. Like, uniquely qualified in consumer skincare medical leadership. Now that's a thing. And then we explain, okay, so you got the CEOs, Johnson and Johnson. That's a great credential. Diana's worked at public-private IPO companies. Which ones? That matters. Then we've got Dr. Ken. Okay. Pixelated images. I don't know if you need all of these people. Like rule of three, again, I would apply here. And what are the like use logos to really punch people in the face with what your credentials are. Again, we got this San Melix logo. I still don't understand the relationship. Oh, okay. Now we've got board members. What does that have to do with anything? Like, this is like an appendix. You want to end on a pithy one-liner, a pithy sentence that captures the essence of everything that came before it, that's repeatable, that it will take time to craft. That's what you want to, that's the enduring memory you want to leave the audience with. Not a wall of text in this kind of blue font that is so detached from the darker blue that's prevalent throughout the rest of the deck. Advisory board members comprise of working and retired senior executives across a range of key functional disciplines and industries/government who will assist BeeCure through advice, connections, and networking activities to help the company achieve its goals. Amazing. ChatGPT writes better, and ChatGPT sucks at writing. Like, this is just laying on credential after credential after credential. And I get, like, if you're in the room, you want to say, hey, look, it's not just us. We've got all these credentials and we're really suited to do this. But beyond that, we've got investors and we've got access to people who really know the space. And that's a really good thing to do. I don't know if you end with it. And I don't know if this is the way to do it, because it's also abstract. Like, let's just say Ranjan Roy. He might be made up for all I know. Like, I want to see his picture and I want to see like a logo for informally, whatever that is. Writer AI. What is a writer AI? And like we've got Dr. Joe Mignoni. He's in Ponte Verde Beach, Florida. What does that have to do with anything? At what point in this deck have we talked about Florida? Like, C-suite executive Philips Consumer. Who? How do I know that's a thing? Like, come on, like try harder. I don't know. Maybe that's too ranty, but like, I wish these guys well. I think they're onto something, but it just takes too much time to unpack like what it is they're up to, what it is they're onto, and what direction they're trying to swim in. Super unclear. That's it for the pitch deck review. Back next week at the same time, 3 p.m. in London, 10 o'clock Eastern time for on Tuesday for another pitch deck review. Until then, so long.